If you haven't seen this story before, go back to the first part. God appears above now. If you are one of the followers of the story, come quickly and think about where we were. The last thing was when we saw Batna entering a cell with his soldiers to liquidate her. But it breaks into a character that is still around until now. I swear it's Chol. He attacks the deputy leader of the Batna team and kills him. And all of this will happen while an unknown person is facing the dungeon boss. The one who was attacked was violently attacked and we did not see what happened after that. So let's continue and see what happened to the soldiers of Batna and who is this Cole. Follow this part until the end because the enthusiasm for it is at another level. And don't forget to support the video and the entire channel so that we can reach the punch as quickly as possible. Praying for the Prophet is more important than anything else. Let us continue. We see his stomach after taking a correct hit like this from the dungeon boss. But we see that he caught the attack in his hand and nothing happened to him. Because of this attack he added something new to his innate hearing aid, which is the internal stack. And it consists of responding with a priest, and we find that he looks at the leader with a challenging look and says, "Let us finish this mess." He gathers his fists and quickly attacks the leader, splitting him in two. The regime appears and says that the dungeon has been liquidated and the monster leader has been killed. He walks with his stomach next to the leader's head and finds something shining on the ground. He holds it and it becomes a black ball with a strange appearance. He asks the insiders of the regime what this football is. The system examines it and says it is a stone called dye. He asked me, what will it help me with? The system tells him, I can't tell you because there is no internet. The router is plugged in and working again. So Kyung says, you're all like that, I don't know what you want to know about your heart. The system comes to him and suddenly displays many screens with warnings. He is surprised at what exactly is happening. The regime tells him that there is a fight taking place at the cell door. We go to you and find that there are soldiers with only one hand in his hand. One of them attacks him with a sword but he gives him a box and throws him on the ground. Another person attacks him unawares but he grabs his mouth and bangs his nostrils on his groin. He also throws it on the ground and spreads it all like carpets. He tells them that there is no one of you and he is Kyung, as I expected. One of Cole's soldiers comes and tells him that someone has cleared the dungeon and killed the monster leader. Chul remembers the earthquake that happened and he felt at the time that Kyung was fighting. He tells him to take his soldiers and turn him on the road. We will get down from here. Before they could move a step, his belly came at the speed of sound and descended after them. Cole looks behind him and his stomach begins to appear from the smoke that he created as he descended. He is happy that the soldiers of his stomach have arrived, and Kyung's stomach starts to walk towards Cheol and his soldiers quietly. And Cole speaks to him in a tone that is not nice and says that you are the one who did what there are no two of, right? I was looking for you. They introduce himself as in Cole from the Shield Syndicate's reconnaissance team. As soon as his stomach stopped in front of him, he started to feel a strange feeling. He upsets his younger brothers when he breaks something. Sweat fills his face and he begins to relax and says to himself, there is a strange feeling coming out of this person. So he says to his stomach, you said the Shield Syndicate. They annoy Cole's soldiers and stab him in the stomach, telling him, how can you talk to a treacherous person like that? Do you want to die or what? Cole gets angry at them and tells them to shut up, you are him. He becomes fanatical and remembers the orders he took to recruit him and treats him as if he were a plotter. He says to himself, you are joking with me. It is a very small thing for this person to be distressed. We must make him our ally even if we leave our team later. And he says to his stomach, look Kyung, you heard that about the Shield Guild, right? We are the strongest union in all of South Korea. Come and join us and we will provide you with anything you need. He feels in his stomach that he is in the matter. We know that the salary of a leader of a large union is 3 billion hanyans. That means about $2 million and a half. This Shield Syndicate will have such influence that the state itself cannot control them. We know from one of the soldiers that if you offer anything to him, you will be guaranteed a large union. It was a very tempting need for all players. There is no one who can refuse this offer. His stomach certainly won't reject it. So he talks to his stomach and says, Cole, I only have one question. So he tells him to ask as you like. Kyung Ho says, aren't you the strongest union in Korea? They are supposed to protect the people and be responsible for defending the city. He says that your union was responsible for protecting people in the area, and that is true. He remembers his mother when she was stabbed. He responds to Cole and says, what you are saying is correct. And not only this area, and before he finishes his words, he takes a box from his stomach. He flies and shoots him when he follows him, and he fainted from one box. Then his followers get angry with him and say, who do you think you are? We know that this shield syndicate is the strongest syndicate in Korea. They would destroy any cell that appeared in a place called the capital. This is all dungeons. After these events, it became the worst in Korea. It contains about 5,000 enemies. In Korea, there are 3 players named S who are members of the shield syndicate. But all this talk is useless with his stomach, which wipes his legs, occupying the court. And he was playing with them. He's upset that he's the best team in the shield guild and he's playing with them like this. Whatever happens, nothing happens. We will go to the shield guild office. By God, the world is in ruins there, and there are many injuries due to his stomach in the shield syndicate. By God, there is the person we saw in the bar the previous part. And he says, I told you, Cole, you treat him nicely. By God, the nurses are telling him that this person cannot smoke here, mister. He tells them he can't honestly. This is why I want to talk to Cole. The nurses tell him that the patient is now unconscious. He tells them, let us make sure that I am like this from the poplars myself. Go out and have no invitation. He tells her to wake up quickly because the path is good. He says I should listen to what he has. He takes out his sting device and sticks it in his chest and shocks him. And he wakes up, terrified. And he says this person is the manager. You look really good, young, as you said. So he says, Cole, I am embarrassed by myself. By God. The manager sits down and tells him to explain everything in detail. He tells him to take the whole team to practice. I am from one person and that is Kim Kyung. The manager says he is that good. So he says to him, Cheol. He says to himself, the manager really looks very good. And he says to him, I only have one question. Can he be compared to our master? So he says, Cheol Alice Heb. The manager tells him, you can't decide, Chol. Because Kim Kyunju is the leader of our union who teaches each other to a very high level. And he says to him, okay, I really don't know what this thing is. The director asks him whether our union will join Kim Kyungo or not. So Cole says, no, he was fighting us as if we were enemies, strong and angry in a strange way. Then the manager gets up and says okay. While he was leaving, he said, you are going. When he goes out, he says to himself, I have to deal with my own father. It is necessary to catch up before any other union. He says to himself, if I can't hold him, then get rid of him. When we leave our crazy knowledge, we go to a beach in a 4-star cell. And with stab wounds, his appearance is large and frightening. But he terrifies himself. His stomach is replaced by a box in the same scene, and his dead wall is rubbing against him. He suddenly says to the regime, I want to ask you something. So he says the regime relax. Before he says it, a whale appears, looking like his wife. He attacks his stomach from his back, but his stomach collects his liver and rubs him like his friend. After he defeats the monsters, Jay releases a die stone, the one he took from the boss of the dungeon that he still finished. It starts to look strange and starts wrapping around it. This device enters his stomach and the system tells him that the stone has been absorbed. There was great development in skills and new skills were added. And they have 2 skills. The first is a personal analysis and the second is an evaluation skill. And his stomach is asking himself, this is a personal analysis. This is not the same as the skill of searching for someone who has fallen out of the regime. So the system knows what this skill is. He says that this skill allows you to know his weight and height, the distance of this person from you, and everything related to him. You can also know the ability of this person if he is a stickler. So he says his stomach is okay, but what is this second evaluation skill? The system responds to him with symbols that express something. So he says his stomach is just like that. The regime says yes. We see his stomach landing on a building after the second Maria. The system tells me where the nearest bus stop is. The system tells him that the nearest station is half a kilometer from here. The regime suddenly speaks to his stomach while he is walking and speaks to him by his name as if he were a normal person. He asks him why you want to take a bus instead of a plane. Kyung is surprised and says to himself, he keeps talking like this because of the expansion of the regime. What happened because of this quarantine? Kung responds to the regime and informs him that Leader Kun warned him. He will never fly again. Because he destroys the world every time he uses a plane. Then the system replaces it with emojis. And he says, I understand you. When he finds his stomach while walking, he feels a strange feeling. When he looked near him, he found someone walking behind him. He guesses that he might be from the Shield Syndicate. He asks the system to analyze this character. Then the system starts analyzing it. After a few seconds, the system tells him that it cannot analyze it. The task makes Kyung's brain grow out of the topic, and he goes to sit. The system says a warning. The person who was in your mind was very close to you. Then he raises his head and finds it in front of him, and someone with white hair. I felt that we had seen him before in the cell where his stomach was. This person stays standing in front of Kyung and doesn't say anything. Then he sits beside him in silence, and this strange person is laughing for no reason. Kyung says to himself, what is bothering him like this? He shouldn't have hidden that he was following me. The important thing is that the bus arrives and the system appears and says it. The bus that will take you back to Al Wada is noon. So he straightens his stomach, pushes it, and goes in to sit. He missed this strange person. Pintail scene for a 4-star dungeon, and they will all be very big expressions. Among them is a person with red hair and strange clothes that makes him feel like he was a Viking, and he will be standing in front of a tired building. Suddenly, he raises his rank in a split second. He is tired and quickly attacks him. This strange person's attack will be faster than the tired person, and it divides it into 2 halves. The tired people began to pay attention to him and attack him together. He wraps his row and cuts them off as well. Suddenly, he was suddenly tired again, very quickly, behind him, and he swallows it before the bug stops, and this strange person blows him up, and the world will rain the remains of this tired person, and he is a powerful person in a terrifying way. This person begins to feel someone behind him. He turns around quickly and throws his row behind him, and this person says he is leaving, and this same manager appears, and he says you have mutated too much. The system finally knows who this person is. He is trained from the Shield Syndicate and his name is Barky Tyrim. Parky says to the manager, you would prefer such a deceitful person. The manager laughed. And he says, how do you know how to speak? And you live in the jungle like Tarzan. The manager tells him the poison of this big snake. He destroys weapons. I hope this expensive guild weapon makes a difference with you. So he tells him to put the butter in it. What brought you here all along? If the topic was not important, I would not have come and looked for me. The manager tells him, you definitely didn't hear anything, because you are always in a prison cell and you live here. So the manager says, I will tell you briefly, and quickly. Is there someone you want to get rid of? He asked him to bless his back and said, I don't care if it's like that. Look at the research team, let them take care of him. The director tells him that the entire research team has been furnished, and he can't hurt him with just one wound. Pitts Den Park. He says that the research team is a special group, in the Shield Guild. And when she realizes it, she is dealing with players who create, and no one can control these people, and he tells them that their weapons and skills, don't get drunk. They have never failed in any task. He starts rolling my Barky for the manager and smashes a plate into the ground. He looked at the manager with an evil look, and he says it in an enthusiastic tone, continue your topic, I am excited. As we move, suddenly the building is strange, and in the Prime Minister's position, we find Barky sitting on a chair and all the guards come out, and when a girl intervened with her, her bug came back. This will be the Prime Minister. Her name is Young, and as soon as he sees her, Barky tells her, I haven't seen you for a long time, my sister. We know some information about this young woman, and it's an S-level game. It is not as strong as a toy. But she chose the path of politics and so on. The important thing is that her brother Barky tells her, what are you doing, young girl? She says that the young woman has no invitation, and do not put this biography on your tongue with your permission. He tells her, bless her, you will always remain like this. You won't change at all. But you don't look like the young woman from 3 years ago at all. So she tells him yes, 3 years. I forgot how I used to work with them in the first place. And we know that the young teacher is D. Not only is this a boss and a game as well. First awake in 10 years. As Young summoned a strange sword, a tremendous amount of energy came out of it, so you tell the system to activate the skill, and it creates a strange mark all over the place. If you use teleportation, it will be magic. Of 7 episodes. The whole building exudes strong taste, and after he lost his taste, the guards who were with the Young, when they found her, she and Park disappeared. When we met them, they moved the place away from the city, and he tells her, bless your strength, it is still the same. The power of this move has become more frozen than the first. The young woman takes the cattle position. Young says to Park. And he gets out of it. And this person is still stuck in it. And he walks after him without any words. And his stomach wouldn't say anything and he kept walking. He keeps his stomach moving until he reaches it. Soldiers standing guarding the place. And he walks with his belly and crosses it and asks, one of the soldiers is the person with you. Kyung tells them, I don't know who this is, I swear. Then the soldiers stop him and tell him that you can't interfere. He tells them why this person stayed. I can't enter. It is a military zone and is forbidden to civilians. Then a cat enters his stomach and thinks about the system, when he said access to the source of the dungeon. So he asks himself what he meant by this need. He says that when he asked the regime, he also didn't answer her for this. Then his stomach begins to lick his uncle. He says to himself, it seems I must collect stones, and I understand what the world is like. He looks at the window and finds this strange person. The important thing is that the soldiers reach the place, and they will arrest him. So this strange person comes down, and he starts running away. He makes his stomach bloat and becomes crazy. The important thing is that I go back to Baraka and Young, and you find the two attacking each other, and a fierce fight begins between them. Baraka attacks her with his sword. Young is accompanied by. He says to her, Baraka, I want you to hand me over to you, Young. This is an order from the head of the Shield Guild. I will just take it, nothing more. Young says to herself now. I knew what the Shield villain wanted. What is the reason for Baraka's attack on us? Young Kim Kyung-ho says. The one who finally remained locked in all the cells. The government did not renew the contract again, with the Shield Thorn. And we know that the government. The one who created Kyung is one of them and works with them. The plot of the Shield is that it is a contract with them, so that they can have a capital. And you say you also want to take Kim Kyung, and you are fanatical. And he was attacked with the Scourge of Ko. He blows up the place, but he quickly sits down. A blessing before something happens to him. Young says that everyone was making her brain bigger, about what you are doing. Neither the kitchen nor the money that works with Kyung, and was easily defeated in the end, and because you couldn't do anything. You want to kill him, so you become fanatic. And the young people say that your brazenness is not nice. By the way, if you think I will tell you, Kyung skips just because you threw in two defining words. On top of that, I followed. Those who have no need for anything. He saw a blessing and saw, by God, a huge fire. Young smiles a little and says to him, let me continue raising you like in the past. It launches a fire attack from all sides. Ali Barak and the relative of this attack. We return to the situation with his hair white and tied up. He sat on the ground and we saw two people with him. And our heroes always tell him these two. They tied him up so he couldn't escape again. So Kyung tells them, okay, let's see what he wants with this friendliness. So he asks him this moment. Why are you walking behind me? This boy smiles and tells him, sure, because you are another monster. I am not comfortable with this friendliness. The problem is that he says the word to him in an incorrect way, so much so that it was the girl who agreed. She liked me and our heroes were close to him. He told him, you want Ziad, you know who I am. This friendliness makes anyone who wants to train laugh. He tells him, is this question annoying or not? He tells him this friendliness, of course I know you well. And he tells him that you are the person who came from the gate. So he tells him what gate lining. He tells him, I was curious about this boy. I know the nature of the person who came out of the gate. It must be a good bond. He gets sore and thinks about how long he will be awake. The third is 1,000 years. Is it possible that this boy knew everything that happened? He tells him this boy, you should take good care of me. I will be here with you. He comes to surprise the deputy commander and puts a knife on his watch. And he tells him if she makes a simple movement, but I'll blow your brains out. You are here on a military base, my love, not at Disneyland. So this boy turns around and tells the deputy commander, okay, I will do what you said, soldier. The deputy commander gets angry and laughs. And he tells him very well. So the blanket and those with it are destroyed. You must prefer here, you must win first, then you can join us. Kyung is still going to talk to him so he can calm down. The deputy commander tells him, please don't try to stop me. He tells him that we must stop this slave situation. About the actions he does. I can't take it any longer. This boy tells him it's okay, meaning if I win over you, we'll join you as normal. So he tells me this boy. What will I do if I defeat everyone here? Pish it, deputy commander. And he tells him okay. Come, I will show you the width of your shoulders. I remain the weakest of them all. And see what I will do to you, I am the only one. And the son of Antil Tani al-Baraki. Whoever is attacking Young is rude. Parky smiles and tells her. I understand your situation, you don't want to hand me Kyung, right? Something strange comes out and she says to Young herself, this is the Oud stone. And you try to stop him from doing something that you don't know what it is. And he smiles an evil smile. It produces great energy and reaches the sky. When she met Parky, he disappeared from her sight. and Liang says to herself. I knew he was a strong person, and his weapons support him greatly, because the sword he has is made of dragon teeth, and she says to herself. This could even cause a problem with Kyung, and we return to the deputy commander. What looks like it will be wiped clean is clear that yes, this is a tile. We see him attacking him and telling him, I will finish with you now. And suddenly he raises his leg above. He stops the deputy commander's attack in a strange way. The deputy commander is shocked by what happened, and he says this friendliness to him, as you said, if I beat you, I can be here. This is not what you said correctly. And he collects his liver at the same moment, before the deputy commander prepares himself, and he quickly attacks him with it. And it will be over, I will go to sleep. But he comes to his stomach and puts his finger. There is a dead person in front of you and he stops it easily, and his stomach suddenly tells him that he is right. I didn't ask you about your name. He knows that his name is Kyung. This boy tells him that his name is Kong Y, so the deputy commander will still respond to me, what happened a while ago? So Kyung tells him, you are not his leader. He tells him that you must always know your opponent's strength, and they are mutating. He tells him that the deputy commander is present, so he tells him, I believe these words, I am right, and his stomach tells him, now I know that you are not just stupid. He tells him that he cannot have the last opinion. Honestly, I have strong opinions about you. So Kyung tells him, you are saying that she is your uncle. Those present are shocked that this boy is. He wants to kill Commander Kyung himself, who hacked the whole game. The deputy commander says to himself that this boy is strong because of his movements with me and attacked him. But Commander Kyung is in another place entirely. The important thing is that Kong is preparing to fight with his stomach. So his stomach says to him, what is this? And Kong doesn't answer him. He attacks him quickly and hits his boxer, but he avoids his stomach very easily, and before Kong tells him, the second one raises his leg with his stomach, and he hits him in the same way he stopped attacking a deputy. The leader has a very strong attack, and Kyung says, you are the one who is the one who is the one. You approached my men and I made the same move. Yours, he says, the deputy commander. I knew Commander Kyung somewhere else. At all, we can see his stomach after he hit him. Baek Kong quickly blocked his blow with his hand, and it's not easy to look like this either. So he says, Kyung, you're good, I hit you really hard. And his stomach attacks him. A lot of punches, and he says, you, who and who sold you? He twists his body in a strange way and says, he is walking and hitting his stomach in the back with his leg. His stomach flies up and Kyung is shocked. He says this is the first time someone has been upset. Who became like this and makes Kong? Kyung tells you that his stomach is too early for you to know. These are the answers I want. He attacks his stomach and blocks it with his stomach. He reverses it and descends to the ground. He asks Kong, are you using soul energy? Kong smiles and says, oh, something like that. I mean, there's another attack. Iron on his stomach and create a halo around his body. He makes many attacks on his stomach and we don't see what happens. What happens to his stomach from smoke? Naab Al-Qawaid is the one with him. Naab Al-Qawaid says, I knew that this was not normal, but not to this extent his strength. Bacon Kong got tired and stopped attacking, and he asks his stomach, are you alive or dead? And the smoke begins to subside and his stomach comes out, and nothing happened to him. But his clothes were cut off and he said, I am still alive, Uncle Hatch. Kong gets angry and says, you are your body. Actually, I wasn't an accountant. You will live after this attack. So Kyung says, you were just attacking my head. So his stomach tells him that you are completely healthy. My turn, I'm coming again. Then Kong raises his hand and says, yes, I'm done. I am just converting to Islam now. He says to his stomach, you are 3 times stronger than what I expected. He consults the deputy of Al-Qawaid and asks him, I may seek refuge here forever, right, because I defeated Naab Al-Qawaid. He is treated like a small family, and he says to his stomach, I want you to take care of him and keep me away at night. He gets upset and says, I'm not finished yet, Rahmat. And he says, what do you mean? So his stomach turns into a box before he opens a bug. He completes his word and expresses his passion, and Burmaya is far away. Kyung wraps his stomach around his back and tells his followers that they are trying to find out where the path is, and we find that there is a tumor. And separate the shipment on the ground, and we go to the strongest dungeon in this manhole, and her backbone will be 8. Its name is Ant Shun Dragon Nest. We see TV rumors saying that there are many theories about dungeons, but all the informants agree on one thing only. It is like if the dragon opened his eyes, Korea will face the biggest disaster ever since it wakes up. and we will see Barco is the house of the little dragon son, and we see this terrifying dragon, and it looks like a really huge need. He screams loudly, and from his scream, he destroys the entire city, and he looks like I seek refuge in God. Barco and the Dara syndicate look like this. You mean this thing for a reason we don't know yet? Will our hero still be able to meet the dragon that everyone is afraid of? Does Kyung, our hero, even have limits to his strength? There is something you will stand in front of. Is the Shield Guild the reason for the awakening of this destructive dragon? What does the Union have to do with our hero Kyung? We all know the next part. Unless you are excited and it will go down very quickly, drop a like, and write a comment, know me, and write a comment about it, and support the whole community so that we can reach the punch as quickly as possible. Praying for the Prophet will remain more important than anything else. Oh, peace.